Good evening. This is Monday, January 29th, if I am not mistaken. Yes, Monday, January 29th. Welcome to this week's edition of the Duchan Method Q&A live class. Welcome to this week's topic. And here we are again, joining to explore all things around mind-body alignment. This week in particular, I am focusing on the body perspective, the environmental perspective, and our relationship with vitality. How might we increase our level of present awareness, of becoming more vital in our lives, healthier, happier, calmer, more present on an everyday basis by paying attention to how our body is connected to the environment. So I see the body as an extension of our environment. And so today I'll be taking you into a short exploration of how our bodies can be a representation of our environment and how we can work more closely within our society, within our communities, within our relationships, our household, our friendships, our marriages. All of it is related to how we show up in terms of being aligned, maintaining a sense of vitality, of connection to our life and to everyone around us. So very simply, to get started, the idea is that our bodies, essentially, our societal structures and the environment are closely intertwined. They're interwoven in this dynamic relationship that shapes the overall well-being of each of us, of individuals, and of our planet. Nothing is separate. Everything is interconnected. And on a physiological level, our health is profoundly influenced by the quality of the environment we inhabit. Air pollution, contaminated water, and our disrupted ecosystems directly impact our physical health. And all of this potentially leads to several illnesses, which I encounter frequently in my own practice. So the environment has become much more affected by climate change, by the quality of our water, by the fact that over all of these years we have been dumping and dumping and dumping so much of our garbage into our beautiful oceans. And at some point, of course, things will start to shift. And this affects the state of our collective mental health, which in part influences, of course, our societal dynamics. An example of this is in New York City, where I live. There seems to be a significant influx in homelessness, but not just homelessness, people who are suffering from mental health and who are homeless. So we are having this issue not just in New York, but throughout the United States and in fact throughout the world. So we are not separate from what is occurring around us, even though we may not be homeless at this moment, but the fact that there is more and more homelessness and more mental health issues and problems in our society, we're not disconnected from that. It affects us all. So, the structures and the dynamics of our societies play a crucial role in shaping our mental and emotional well-being. So it's really important, I think, to begin to improve the notion, our way of relating to what's occurring around us as an extension of our bodies, right? Between our body and society, that we're not disconnected, that in fact we are all interrelated. And it requires a comprehensive and integrated approach, meaning that it takes a moment for us to learn how to express this notion that we are interrelated with our society, because for many people, we're disconnected from our society. We're not involved with what's going out over there. We may not have as much of an involvement in our society. We may not be as aware of our consumerism, which is a big part of it, to start to really focus on what is it that you invest in? Where do you invest your money? What do you buy on a regular basis? And can you start to make wiser, more loving, kinder choices in terms of what you are investing in your life, in your awareness. And so I wanted to share a few strategies today with you, to assist in exploring the possibility of how can we extend this sense of connection to our environment as an extension of our bodies. Because if we just do a slight shift of mindset, if we start to look at how we can look into the environment as an extension of our physical bodies, it changes how we act. We become more mindful of how we dispose of plastics, for example. And the way we do that is to stop purchasing so many things that are packaged into plastic, because we're having a real issue with recycling, with doing better things with plastic. As you've seen on so many social media posts, what is occurring in the world in terms of plastics ending up in the ocean and simply polluting. And there's nowhere that these plastic containers can go. So are there any ways where you might tweak your engagement with your consumerism, with your purchases? Is there a place in your neighborhood where you can actually go to a sort of collective where you can buy in bulk? These are the small types of shifts that we can start to make that make a huge difference in conservation, in helping us create a better environment for ourselves and, of course, for our future generations. The first strategy that I wanted to invite was to start thinking about preventative healthcare. And what do I mean by that? Preventative healthcare looks like how we are acting, eating, what we're drinking on a daily basis. And for example, as you awaken in the morning, do you take a moment to check in with your body, to slowly breathe into your body, and perhaps even share some gratitudes about just being alive, just being awake on this day? Step number one, preventative healthcare, to calm your nervous system down first thing in the morning. I've said this many times, to go out and take a quick walk so that you might be in the light of day first thing in the morning. The other thing is to have a cup of hot water with lemon, with turmeric, with ginger, and to cleanse your body first thing in the morning before you have any type of caffeine, if you are someone who has caffeine. And then what are you putting into your body every day in terms of nutrition? These kinds of small shifts make a big difference on the overall quality of your energy throughout the day. What you will find is that your vital energy will increase. You will feel less tired, especially if you're not boosting caffeine intake throughout the day to give you more energy. This is what I call preventative healthcare. First, we begin at the home. What are you putting in your mouth first thing in the morning? What are you eating? What are you filling your body with? How are you treating your skin? Are you showering first thing in the morning, or simply washing your face, but doing it mindfully, taking care of your body, using products on your face or on your body that are organic, that are based in healthy products, so that we're not also over consuming and just buying what shows up on our social media posts to try it, because all of these bottles and glasses, all of the jars that contain our creams and makeup, they end up in the trash as well. So that's step one of a preventative approach to healthcare. The other part of this is, how are you taking care of your body on a regular basis to avoid getting into crises? So, for example, do you have a routine where you are moving every day? You're going for walks, or you're taking some time to roll on your foam roller, or you're stretching, or you might go to the gym to exercise and increase your vital energy. That's one way. The other way is, are you getting body work sessions on a regular basis? That can range from massage to structural integration, which is what I do, to getting acupuncture, so that you maintain a sense of health throughout your day and life. These are preventative measures. What does that mean? It means to take care of a problem before it arises. We're all getting older every day. And depending where you are in life, you might start to be experiencing some shifts in your body. You may have more stress in your life based on your work, on money, family. So, how can you maintain a system, a daily system of self care preventatively, so that you might avoid crises? It's not always possible to avoid crises. Our bodies can let us down. Things might arise. Overall, however, if you really focus on taking care, on having these rituals on a daily basis, I can only share with you from my own practice that it is incredibly effective. And also, it shifts your mindset from having to go and see a doctor because you're not feeling well or something is off, to living a lifestyle that encourages better health on a daily basis. And one of those things is also your mental health. So, how are you being preventative with your mental health on a daily basis? Do you have friends or loved ones in your life that you share love with, connection with on a daily basis? If you are in a relationship, how do you speak to your partner? Are you sharing supportive words? Do you encourage your partner to, or support them, or give them words of encouragement? Or are you finding yourself in situations where you tend to banter back and forth? This practice of kindness, of coming from the heart and supporting people in your life, your family, your friends, your spouse, this is preventative healthcare, because you are leveraging your mindset to communicate in a way that is kind and loving and supportive. This is all part of your physiology as well as your mental healthcare. Of course, doing a little bit of meditation or contemplation on a daily practice, on a daily basis rather, to really increase your level of being, setting some space and time for yourself, to be kinder and to listen deeply to what's arising in your body. This is a daily practice in preventative healthcare. And of course, why am I sharing this? Because if you're taking better care of your mental health, of your physical health, of your emotional health, that permeates into your environment. Therefore, you tend to make better choices. You move into the world making better choices because you're more mindful, you're more careful, you care about your neighborhood, your community, your environment. The other piece is the mind-body connection that I talk about every week. And what do I mean by mind-body connection? This is really about bringing yourself into a space of consciousness, of choosing to raise your level of consciousness and to integrate the connection between your mind, your body, your emotions, and your vital life force, which is also your spirit. What animates you? What excites you? So, mind body or body mind integration is, I think, the way of the future when it comes to healthcare. And it's the way of the future, or the way of now, when it comes to dealing, to being in relationship with our environment. Because if we can understand that we're not separate from our communities, from our environments, we tend to take different actions. We also become more generous in our relationships. We extend a hand. We are more mindful of how we are feeling. And so, therefore, in that practice, you also become more mindful of how you might feel or sense another person. And that in exchange shifts your way of interacting with them. So, I wanted to share a picture at this time to ignite this mind body connection. And the reason I want to show you this picture is to assist you in viewing yourself, or the possibility of how to view, how to see an image in relationship to the outside world, to excite your creative senses. So it's a body mind connection in the creative arts. And so before I do that, I just want to acknowledge all of you who might have shown up on the live call. Welcome. Sabi is here this morning. And Sabi shared a few interesting things. Sabi says, these days I'm experiencing having in the morning a cup of hot water with lemon, curcuma, cinnamon, and ginger, and it feels so good within. Yes, thank you, Sabi. Still, I do confess that I'm still eating cookies. One step at a time. I really try to do at least tiny steps and not to throw stones at me, to be kind with me and honest too. Thank you, Sabi. Yes. So my suggestions, of course, are to approach these techniques, your daily ritual and self-care, from a place of love. It's fine to eat cookies if you're in the mood for them. It's fine to eat chips if you're in the mood for them. I certainly eat chips. I love chips, right? I enjoy a glass of wine on occasion, although I've really curbed my alcohol intake because it just doesn't feel good anymore. Like I'm just not enjoying it as much as I used to. So these small incremental changes change how we feel in our bodies, and therefore how we act in the environment. Okay. So I'm going to show you a picture, and I want you to look at it with soft eyes, to kind of lean back a little bit. And this is just an experiment in creative exploration in relationship to body, mind, heart, and to allow ourselves to see something, to see an image from a different perspective. So here we go. Just take a moment here and allow yourself to sit back and just look at the picture. A picture of a cranium. It's an artistic picture. This is a picture that was made by the artist Juan Gatti. Juan Gatti was, or might still be, Pedro Almodovar's main graphic artist that created all of Almodovar's flyers and posters for his many movies. And so you can feel a sense of eccentricity in the way that he views the human body. I love this picture because it reminds me to see beyond the masks that we wear. So we don't usually look at people from this perspective, from all of the tendons and the muscles that are arising from within one's face. And still, we can be with this image of this form, this head, in this way, surrounded by flowers, and kind of a contrast between what might be beautiful, the flowers, nature, and maybe something that is less beautiful, depending on how you view the human body. And maybe you have a trigger, a reaction to this image. And if you do, I'd love to see comments. What are you seeing? How can you relate to this? And I'm specifically using this image to invite you into exploring the relationship between a creative outlook, a body, mind, emotional connection, and how we are actually viewing this image. And to allow yourself to receive the information and to notice what arises within you. For me, I get very excited when I see this type of art because I love anatomy. I love anything that has to do with the human anatomy. And it reminds me, as I see this, that I am just as vulnerable and raw as all of the nature around me. That as a human being, I am vulnerable, I'm fragile, I'm resilient, and still I'm fragile. And this image reminds me of this connection that we have with nature, that even though we are resilient and strong, there's still a space of vulnerability, a beautiful space of creativity. And if I live my life through the eyes of creative possibility, it tends to ignite all that is beautiful in me, so that I'm spending less time focusing on all of what is not working in the world, focusing more on what is working. And by choosing to view different images, to practice different things in my rituals, like drawing, like looking at images first thing in the morning, it ignites my sense of connection with the world and environment. And that might be a little bit of a stretch for some of you, and that's okay. I am nothing if not someone who wants to stretch. I want to show you another picture for you to explore by the same artist, just a relationship with our spine, our wings, and he uses parrot wings to attach to our spine. And so just kind of allow this to come to you, the cranium, the brain, how he's developed the brain all the way down into the lower part of your cranium and how that connects to your spine. Now, this is not anatomically correct. This is more for a creative insight into how we might see our bodies in relationship with nature. It is a further exploration into seeing color. How does it make us feel? What kind of reach can we have creatively in our minds? And allow for the sensations to arise within you, because vital energy comes from within. So seeing images, colors, things that you might not have expected to see during this call today, being sense an element of surprise. Allow yourself to feel all of this, because all of it is an integration, a connection, a spreading of our relationship with the environment, with our society. The next piece that I wanted to integrate is a very important part that we share at Art of Alignment Academy on the Duchenne Method Facebook group, and that is community support networks. If we are going to expand our minds, our bodies, our generosity, our capacity to live in a more harmonious environment, being in relationship with our community becomes absolutely important. Do you know your neighbors? Do you communicate with your neighbors? Do you check in on your neighbors? Do you still go over and ask for a cup of sugar or milk or salt? We don't do that so much anymore in our communities, for urban communities for sure. And I just want to extend the possibility, perhaps as a gentle reminder, that our communities are an extension of our physical bodies. Many of us live in apartments and condos, in co-ops. Even if you have your own home with a backyard and so forth, most of us have to deal with our neighbors. There is a relationship to our closest supermarket or even the deli at the corner. When you visit these places, are you participating in sharing your energy from a place of concern, of love, to integrate this practice into your daily life? Get to know who the person at the deli counter is. Who are they? They come in every day to work, and you might see them occasionally. To start to interact with your community makes a difference. Very simply, when we walk up the street and we'll see someone who's not working, who's just walking up and down the sidewalk, and you go, oh my God, like, I recognize you. I get this all the time when I work in my office. And if I meet one of my clients in a social environment, people are like, oh, wow, I've never seen you outside of the office, type of thing. And so it enlightens us. It delights us also, because there's a connection. To not underestimate the importance of connecting with our communities. And we do this every day on the Duchenne Method Facebook group page. So this is definitely a plug for you to check it out if you haven't checked it out yet. Every day, one of our members posts something around the topic of gratitude or mind body alignment, prayer, meditation. And so, what starts to happen is that in building that type of community, every day we are in relationship with one another, and that changes how I show up on the Facebook group page because I make an effort to show up. Community and expanding our bodies into relationship with our communities and society changes us. It requires effort. It requires focus. It requires an open heart. It requires commitment. Instead of what I see some of the time on social media are comments from people who don't know each other that are less than kind. They are opinionated. They might be a stab. They are filled with judgment. And so the idea in being able to come in a state of community and to relate to our environment by getting to know who is around us, your neighbors, your friends, and even the bank. Even if you're on the phone and you call the bank or you communicate over technology, to always remember that that is an extension of who we are. The person on the other side is just like us, is a person just like us. And so what does it cost us to really integrate kindness and awareness and being in full presence of them so that we don't lose our patience? And believe me, it's happened to me many times. And as I soften my approach, as I remember the interconnection between me and everyone around me, even though it might be on the phone, even though it's a telephone company or my heating company or any of it, it makes such a difference when we're able to approach it from a place of kindness and presence, because they are an extension of us. We are an extension of them. There is no separation. This is a complete myth. And you can tell because of the wars that are going on in the world. We are all affected by it. We're affected by the war in Ukraine, in the injustices that are occurring in the world, certainly with the war in Gaza at this moment, and all of the discord between so many cultures based on mostly just greed and a personal sense of power. Like, I'm going to take over this. I am going to diminish you, for reasons that all of them are always politically and economically based. And it's not working. We're killing each other instead of coming from a place of sitting down, dialogue, collaborating, understanding that the war in Gaza affects us in the United States, that we are emotionally raw. So the extension into society, into creating a sense of tolerance and beauty, that invites vitality in our bodies. This is what I'm talking about, your daily preventative medicine. Kindness and connection is preventative medicine, because you always feel that you're connected to another, that you never have to be alone. So it's a little bit of a mindset shift, and I want to invite you to consider it and see how that might feel for you. And more than that, to share either on this page in the comments on my YouTube channel, in our Facebook group, to take the time to check it out, to read what other people are writing, especially in the circles that I create, because they're all based from a place of loving kindness, of how we are part of an integral whole. We are not alone. Also, I invite it through the lens of creativity, of viewing life and situations from a different mindset, from another perspective. So much of the time, our conditioning has us see things in a very specific way, and life changes every day. And if we're able to just increase our level of integration, to really understand that we are interrelated, to share some love, some kindness, some tolerance, and realize that our bodies are an integral part of the whole, that we are affected by one another. So for today, you might have an intention right now. You might choose an intention to be more present for yourself or for your mother, father, sister, boyfriend, spouse, at work, to become more mindful, to notice how much judgment might arise, not to blame yourself, not to shame yourself, but to notice, how does judgment arise in your life? What are you judging right now? And why? How is it helping you to judge another? To develop these tools of mindfulness, these tools of present awareness, to ask questions, open-ended questions, so that you might hear yourself and you might notice, what are you holding on to? What are you holding on to that is limiting the possibility of more vitality in your body? If you have judgment about your neighbor or about the wars, take a step back. Everybody needs to relax a little bit. Relax and know that those people who are fighting and dying around the world are connected to us. It's not them, the other over there. We're connected to them. We feel, our planet feels it, our earth feels it, the environment feels it, the air is suffering from all the bombing. There is a connection. So to allow yourself to sit back and do a little inventory. This is preventative medicine. This is body-mind connection. Do an inventory. Where are you falling off the track? Where are you not choosing centered mindfulness? And also to be critical of your own thinking in a loving way. You can add critical thinking to the list of strategies to assist us in becoming more vitally aware of how we are connected to our environment and society. Be critical about how you think about things, not critical as in criticize yourself. Critical as in dissect it. Look at your beliefs. Where might you create a little bit more space around a belief system that is judgmental, that you're judging another? And be brutally honest with yourself. You might decide to write it down after our session today. Write it down. Where do you judge? Where are you focusing your energy? Are you focusing your energy on minimizing, on finding things wrong with other people, on complaining about something? That's easy to do, my friends. Complaining, judging, pointing the finger, that's easy to do. And that's what we're seeing globally right now. And so there's no preventative medicine. There is no critical thinking around those ways, because it's just pointing fingers. And I suggest that we look inside ourselves and see, how might you refine yourself in how you communicate and how you view your society, your environment. Start to make connections with your neighbors. Increase the level of kindness, increase the barometer of love in your system and how you represent it in the world, no matter what anybody else does. This is so important. So many people are in a state of reactivity to others because they have a story. They have a story about how someone is. They can't accept that someone might have shared some information with them that they disagreed with. And so therefore, it's black or white. We're no longer going to talk. My friends, life is all those shades of beautiful gray, to name a popular book title, and I think movie title, right? It's all shades of gray. There is no black and white. Look at your blacks and your whites and take a step back and see where the judgment comes from deep within you, because I'm telling you, your judgment is permeating through your society, through your actions at your workplace, and more importantly, with yourself. When we judge, when we criticize, when we complain, it is a reflection a deeper reflection of our internal breakdown of our own system. Because this company or this supermarket is terrible. Fine, the quality changed. I get that. Things do change. Focus on creating another possibility for yourself. Explore another possibility. Choose to move towards a direction of vitality, not of complaining and disconnection. I hope that this is helpful. Sabi shared, the second drawing is beautiful and feels strange in the body. My bottom activates. Yes, this was the second image that I shared with you. I'll just share it again. I love that. Sabi says, I remember that once I wanted to give many clothes, and instead of going to associations, I knocked at all my neighbors' doors to suggest them. It was also a beautiful way to connect. It bonded more. Beautiful, Sabi. Thank you for sharing that. Listen, we never lose by connecting. We never lose by connecting. And in fact, it's a perfect segue into our topics for the month of February. We're falling in love in February. Of course, it's Valentine's Day, but more than this. I'm not really talking about Valentine's Day, but we will be exploring the topic of love, the heart. And I'm going to do it again from a heart-centered body-mind approach. Not so much romantic love, although that's fabulous as well, but a deeper type of love that is an extension of vitality, of what we've been speaking about this month. How are you being loving to yourself? How does your love permeate into your relationship with your children, with your spouse, with your family, again, with your community? It is an ongoing practice. So I hope that you will join me next month as we explore the topic of love. Also, if you haven't joined us on the Facebook group, please do invite your friends. It's a beautiful space. It's safe, it's kind, it's loving. We talk about all things body, mind, and now we've changed the structure of it this year. So several of our members in our Facebook group are actually posting. So it has become a community affair in the sense that people have chosen to show up, to step up, and to share on a daily basis, anywhere from gratitude to prayer to meditation to movement tips. So I hope that you'll join us on the Facebook group, The Duchenne Method. And also, if you liked our class today, please give me a like, or better yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and please invite your friends, anyone who is invited or interested into body-mind alignment connection. There will be more surprises as we move into the next few weeks. February is going to be a great month full of new information in relationship to your actual physiology of the heart, and how the heart pumps blood in the body, and how vitality comes from the blood pumping, and also very much grounded into the topic of love, a deep sense of connection with love and the heart space. So my friends, thank you for being with me today. I appreciate you. I appreciate your time, and I wish you a wonderful, wonderful week. Thank you, Sabi, for all your beautiful comments and support. I appreciate and love you dearly. Thank you all. Have a wonderful week.